we have in this photograph, and we're not trying to paint this particularly, but I do kind of like the idea that you can see a little something back there. Just adds a little depth to it. But notice how fuzzy it is. This is what we call depth of field in photography, where you focus on your main subject and everything else is sort of blurred out, or vice versa. You could focus on this and this could be blurred out. So that's how you create different effects. But in this case, we want to focus on the horse. So right back there now, let's take our number 10 bristle brush, and let's just put in some sort of grayish colored trees. Now, by the way, purple is the complement to the yellow. So we're going to take a little purple, probably a little sienna and blue, and we'll create. Now, looking at my dirty palette here, you can see I'm going to add a little white to this. See, that's got a little purple tint to it, and put a little more blue with it, and we'll turn it kind of gray. Let's go back here. It may be too dark. We'll see. Yeah, that's about right. Now, you just put a strip of this across, and then you take your brush and you fuzz it like this. See, I'm pushing up. This is what I call fuzzing. I don't know if that's a real art term or not, but it works for me. Now, you scrub this up until this you kind of create some nice little shapes. You're not really trying, like I said, to create some really major trees. Just some background to play with. Now, that's wet, just like an oil painting, so you're going to get a little texture, which I think is wonderful. So, pat, push, kind of push to build the tree up, pat to give it the texture and to sort of fade it. This is a great technique. I use this a lot in most of my landscapes. Now, even though the horse is going to cover a good bit of this in here, please move right on across, because we don't really know exactly how everything's going to come out, so it's better to be safe than sorry, and it won't hurt you to practice doing these trees anyway. And notice the value. It's not too dark, not too light, a little bit textured. It just adds a nice feeling to this. Now, notice most of the trees are pretty much the same height across here. That's because we're not really trying to create a magnificent compositional, thing back here. Just simply enough to create some interest. And by the time you put the horse in here, it'll break this up anyway. Now, if we were using this as a feature part of a landscape or an integral part of some landscape, yeah, we'd probably do a lot of adjusting, but it's not necessary here.